From her left side, she's a pretty teenage girl. From her right, she bears the mark of 21st century slavery. Maybe words like slavery sound to you like hyperbole, but Long Pros was kidnapped in her Cambodian village at the age of 13, trafficked to Phnom Penh, and then endured years of forced prostitution and torture, culminating in her disfigurement.
The worst part is the fear. The fear was overwhelming.
Pros struggled to tell her story, but she found support from another trafficking survivor, Sina Van. Together, Sina and Pros offer a window into a world that few outsiders ever see, and that the brothel owners are desperate to disguise.
If you resisted, they electrocuted you. Sometimes, they electrocuted me twice a day if I argued too much.
They wet your shirt, and they tie you up so you won't try and run away. And they put a wire, a live wire, inside of you.
People often think the issue is prostitution, and they see women or girls smiling, beckoning on the street. But for girls forced into sex work, the issue isn't prostitution, it's slavery. Sure, there are many women who work voluntarily in brothels, but particularly here in Southeast Asia and in South Asia, village girls are often kidnapped and trafficked to brothel owners who can earn large sums on virgins and young girls.
In the room, they tied your hands, and outside there was a guard.
I've reported on sex trafficking in Cambodia for a dozen years, and I'd heard of dungeons underneath the brothels to torture girls, but I'd never seen one of these dungeons. So Sina took me to the Tulkork red light district, where she was once imprisoned herself. She showed me a brothel that had been torn down, where the remnants of underground cells were still visible.
These are the rooms they'd use to torture girls and electrocute them. There must be many girls who died in those rooms. I spent 2 years in a place like this. I'm cold and afraid. Tonight I won't sleep.
When Pros was purchased by her brothel owner, she was a virgin and hadn't even had her first period. By the time she escaped, her virginity had been sold 4 times.
They stitched me up. 3 times.
The great majority of customers in Asia are locals, but there are some Westerners. The imprisoned girls are never paid a penny and aren't allowed to insist on condoms.
I got pregnant twice. The second time they waited until I was 4 months pregnant before they gave me the abortion.
Pros was in so much pain that she broke the code. She asked the mama-san for a few days' rest.
I begged and pleaded for mercy, and she stabbed my eye with a metal piece.
With her eye gouged out, Pros was monstrous and valueless, so the brothel discarded her. She was later taken in by the Somali Mam Foundation, an organization run by a former trafficking victim to help other such girls. Barack Obama's presidency will symbolize a victory over the long legacy of 19th century slavery. I hope that his administration will do more to tackle 21st century slavery. I'm sickened to think that in many countries around the globe, teenage girls are still being kidnapped and forced into brothels. It was deeply painful for Pros to go before a camera and recount her humiliations. She did so in the hope that her story will help awaken well-meaning people to the horrors of sex trafficking. I find that kind of courage and resiliency truly inspiring. And she is rebuilding her life. The Somali Mam Foundation is helping her get a glass eye, and she's taking literacy classes and preparing for a new career.
When I finish my training in sewing, I would like to go home and make a business, like a seamstress.
In Cambodia, for the New York Times, I'm Nicholas Kristof.